There has been a civil war. That's right. We've been waiting on this for a while, haven't we? Well, it's finally here. There's a civil war now, and it's between basically a lot of the neoconservatives and also now with certain individuals that we are all quite familiar with. And this has been a debate over where is the Conservative Party going? Where are Republicans going?
You mentioned him, and your name came up on this stage last night in regards to pretty much all of this. Would you like the opportunity to respond?
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness.
He's right. She's right about this. That like him acting like, oh, everybody should excommunicate this person. The problem is that a lot of Ben Shapiro's criticism of like, what do you call it? Of like Nick Fuentes and stuff like that, I think that there's some validity in it, but I think that all of that validity goes out the window when you realize that this is a person that's acting in the best interest of Israel. That's the problem that people have.
About his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me.
Oh.
Chorus? A head cheerleader, maybe, but like.
Who's mad? What else is new?
The whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out. So he both wants to parent me and be my child. He wants to tell me what I have to do and who I have to say what to. And then when I don't, he and some of his friends want to act like utter victims because I won't do what they say. They need me. I have to be their daddy and step in to protect them.
Yeah, no, he's right. I mean, Ben Shapiro he's basically calling on a lot of other conservative people to try to defend him against the America First Nick Fuentes faction. And the problem is that he's losing massively. And he's losing in the court of public opinion. That's the worst court to lose in.
And I am not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
I think people, like, especially, like, this messaging is, like, especially problematic for conservatives because they're just coming off of, like, a 10-year censorship campaign for their values. So, basically, like, you've had people getting deplatformed constantly during COVID and before COVID for sharing opinions that are against the grain, and now here comes Ben Shapiro asking for another brand of censorship.
So, I don't think we are friends anymore.
Damn.
I've been a very good friend.
Damn.
Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel, and I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him
cooked.
The most
Ben is omega cooked.
kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And
let's see if that's still true. I looked at it before. How's he doing now? Is he losing subscribers? So why is there a dash next to the 20? What's that? It means super? Oh, it means he's gaining super subscribers. Is that it? So, yeah, he's gaining subscribers on, yeah. It's not good, right? Wrong. Somebody says in chat. It's a wrong way, bozo. It's really just that simple now, isn't it? So, yeah, he is losing subscribers, and he is on a generational, you know, there's like, people say a generational run. Well, this is like a generational crash.
So I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you.
Well, the problem is that the age of gatekeeping is over. Period. It is. It's over. It's dead. It's done. There is no more gatekeeping allowed. Like, nobody is going to put up with and listen to gatekeeping anymore.
And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship.
Damn.
And I think that's fine with me.
Okay.
With friends like that.
Man. Why are people hating Ben Shapiro again? Megyn Kelly at Turning Point USA saying that she favored Candace Owens asking questions like if Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk were involved in Charlie's assassination.
It was fine. Again, I don't think Israel had anything to do with it, but why did I have an obligation to stop Candace from asking those questions? I didn't, and I didn't call her
ridiculous.
out because I favored her asking them. It was fine.
Yeah, people are going to ask it's a stupid question. Candace Owens, like, I think that a lot of, like, what she's going on with is so stupid, but she has every right to be stupid. She does. And that's it. I don't see the problem at all. And we have, and then this is the past and the future. There isn't a real person under 40 who feels this way. Literally zero. Man. 60,000 likes, 61,000 likes on this. Oh, here we go.
If you believe that boys should compete with girls in girls' sports, I'm sorry, you're not on the team. You have no place in this movement. If you believe, thank you. It's pretty obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you believe in racial quotas in government hiring, you have no place in the conservative movement. Sorry, you're not on the team. You're free to believe it. It's a free country, but you have no place in the conservative movement. If you believe in normalizing hatred towards any ethnic group, toward whites, towards blacks, towards Hispanics, towards Jews, towards Indians, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. Period. And I will not apologize.
I think that the racial divide, like you do have like an emerging white racial identity movement that's happening in conservative politics. I think this is a losing proposition. It is. It's a losing proposition. Maybe in the future it's a good idea, but I'll tell you right now it's not. If you go with that and you use that, you're going to lose. That's it.
For that. I will not hedge when I say it. If you believe, and you will forgive me for giving you an exact quote from our online commentator Nick Fuentes, if you believe
getting called out on stage. Man. This guy straight up disappeared, though? Well, the reason why Vivek disappeared is because he lost all of his credibility and all of his goodwill because he criticized basically the way that America, like, idealizes sports and, you know, like, I guess, like, aesthetics beyond, like, mathematics and competency. Like, exactly, he's a fraud. Well, he wasn't wrong. I think Vivek wasn't wrong, too. I do. I agree that we shouldn't have a million H-1B visas, and I think it's a huge problem. But I also think that America's fixation around aesthetics and the way people look and the celebrity culture and not caring about people that are, it's like the Magellan thing, that Alex Jones, well, Magellan was a lot cooler than Justin freaking Bieber. Circumnavigated the entire globe. He's right. It's true. It is. So I don't think he necessarily was wrong for saying it, but it's an instance of right message, wrong messenger. And I think it was a racial reason. It was. And I'm not defending why people were mad, but I'm just saying that this is very clearly what happened. And at the time, I even defended Vivek. But I could see why people were angry. People see somebody like Vivek come to America, and this person is seen as an outsider, right? He is seen as an outsider. Whether you want to assume he's an American or not, you can't deny that there's a tremendous amount of people that don't really see him as an American in the same way that they might see a whiter, like an African-American person as an American. And basically what I think has happened is that him coming out and criticizing it hit a lot different than if it was like, let's say, me or Tucker Carlson that said it. Because let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's because we're white guys and we've probably been in the country for fucking 400 years. And so there's a degree of implicit, I think, trust that happens. He's an outsider. He was born in America. I'm not discussing the validity of this. I'm discussing the actuality of this. I'm not arguing with you. Like I said, I agreed with Vivek. I'm just saying that this is a very clear sentiment that a lot of people have.
Hitler was pretty fucking cool. You have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
So the reason why, and this is something that I don't know if I'm giving away the game here, right? But this is the reason why there's been such a big advocacy to make Hitler not seen as like a bad person, is people view Hitler as the final seal of unlocking white identity politics. They see the acceptance of allowing, you know, people to like be positive about Hitler to be allowing white people to see themselves as the ultimate boss. Yeah, right. And like if you break that final seal, you can unlock white identity politics. It's like a Horcrux, right? For like Voldemort. That's the final one. And that's see what you did there. No, I'm being honest, right? It's a legitimate, it's twisted logic. It's twisted. You call it whatever you want, but that's the reason why it's so important for people like that. And you can see also this in action with the amount of people's support and believing of the Holocaust, for example, is that based off of racial lines, there's a tremendous difference between the way that white people view the Holocaust and the way that other minorities view the Holocaust. This is just evidently true. You can look at any poll. So that's really why. And people might not understand that because I don't think that they ever really tried to put in any. I don't think a lot of people have. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Well, if I'm saying something, here's a bit of advice, okay? If I'm saying something that sounds just so incredibly stupid, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the most retarded thing I've ever heard. This is so dumb. There's no way people are this stupid. You can rest assured that I'm telling you the truth. That is when you know that we are dealing with reality. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Stalin killed 60 million Russians. No one talks about it. All I'm saying is that basically, there's a tremendous amount of white guilt that comes from Hitler, and I think this is like, in a way, I think it's misplaced, right? Because it's just Germany, really. It's Germany had this crazy asshole, and he's gone, right? But like, I think that's the reason why people are so. That's the reason why a lot of these like white identity people are so strongly advocating for making Hitler and normalizing being positive about Hitler. Do you guys see my point about this? I don't think anybody sees this bigger picture, but that's the bigger picture. I don't see anybody talking about this either. There's more to it, actually. I'm sure I'm giving an abbreviated version.
Debate foreign aid to Israel all you want. That's fine. That's fair. But you have no place with that level of hatred. You can debate the right resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, but if you believe Joseph Stalin is someone to look up to, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States of America, a Jeet, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
Yeah, I think I think it's destructive. What it's doing is it's like, basically, this type of identity politics is kind of, I think, what poisoned the Democrat Party. And if they continue focusing on racial identity and stuff like this, I think that it will alienate too many people and they'll lose political power. Even if you agree with it and you think it should be America for white people, you have to acknowledge that this really isn't a very good democratic position to have. There's too many people that disagree with it.
And if you can't say those things without stuttering, then you have no place as a leader at any level in the conservative movement either. Certainly not in my state of...
The problem that Vivek has is that I think that all forms of gatekeeping are falling apart. All forms of approval are just completely collapsed. And at this point, nobody gets to decide who's part of the movement other than the movement itself. It doesn't matter if all of these people come up and they criticize the same person. If anything, that's just going to make that person look better. Gates aren't invincible? Yes, you're right.
Ohio.
It's sort of the opposite of what he's doing. He's saying that, what's this here? He's saying that any discrimination makes you not part of the movement. Well, he's talking about racial discrimination, and what I'm talking about is identity and value discrimination. Like, these are two very different things. You know, this guy made money selling World of Warcraft gold back in the day? Oh, yeah. There he is.
Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here last night.
I gotta turn it up. Apologies. Give me a minute.
It's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time. Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here.
Call him Benji.
Last night.
Call him Benji.
He was all, it's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time, brother. You can't handle the truth.
Honestly, I think Steve's right. This is Steve Bannon. He's right. I don't think Ben realizes how profoundly unpopular his values are. I don't think he does.
Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt.
Damn.
He is a hardcore never Trumper. He's a hardcore never Trumper. In the spring of 16, he tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job, made a big deal about some incident in Mar-a-Lago with Corey Lewandowski. He tried to turn it to Ted Cruz from Donald Trump because he hated Donald Trump.
Who does Ted Cruz support and go to work for to make sure that he works in their best interest every day? What entity does Ted Cruz do that for? Somebody in chat said Canada. It's in fact not Canada, but it's Israel. You were close.
In the general election, he barely...
I had to sit there and wait because everybody knows it's Israel. I had to sit there and wait for like 2 seconds for one person to give a stupid answer. Like, I'm like, everybody knows. Everybody knew what it was.
Supported Donald Trump. The first sign of when President Trump gets sent back to Mar-a-Lago, the very first individual that jumped on the Ron DeSantis train, the Israel First train, was Ben Shapiro.
Damn.
And those are the darkest days we had.
That was right after January 6th.
21 and 22, you guys were there. He's consistently been against Trump, and now that President Trump doesn't back the Greater Israel Project. What is Greater Israel? It's not about Israel itself. It's about an expansionist Israel, an imperial Israel that Netanyahu and that crowd have thought up. And the Israel First crowd is Ben Shapiro, Tel Aviv Mark Levin, and many others.
Mark Levin is the, you remember him, he's the fat, bald retard. We all remember Mark Levin? Yes.
That want to put that ahead of America's interests.
Which one? It's one of them. And so it doesn't narrow it down? Yeah, I guess so. And let's see here. Oh, here's another one.
Shapiro is like a cancer, and that Shapiro is like a cancer, and that cancer spreads.
Damn.
It's a cancer, and it metastasizes. He tried to take over Breitbart, and I ran him out of there. He tried to take over David Horowitz's, who was his mentor. Don't ask me. It's the guys associated with David Horowitz, what he did there. He tried to take that over. And mark my word, he will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk.
Damn. Damn, bro. Like, he's making it personal, too. So, anyway, and I'll go back. We're going to look at the Ben Shapiro response. But before I... actually, you know what? Let's watch this right here. So, somebody asked about the USS Liberty. Now, the USS Liberty was a ship. I don't know all the details about this, but it was a ship that Israel attacked, basically.
You cited during your speech truth as the most important tenet of American conservatism. Why, therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded.
Somebody's having a bad time. Somebody's having a very bad time.
So what I actually said is that if we're looking at modern Israeli-American relations, looking at an attack that happened mistakenly by multiple Navy reports, multiple Israeli reports, and all available evidence, and using that attack in order to undermine today's relations between Israel and America, that's irrelevant.
So how can you use that attack to undermine Israel's relations with America, but you also use the Holocaust to bolster Israel's relations with America, and it happened even farther beyond that? I think this is an example of having your cake and eating it too. You want this collective guilt to continue, building goodwill for Israel, but these things that Israel did in the past that were somehow problematic, well, that was a long time ago. It doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? Holocaust was not a mistake. It was still in the past. It's also a fucking mistake. And the other thing too is that you've got to remember that America came over and stopped the Holocaust. We ended up helping Europe win the fucking war along with the fucking Soviets against Nazi Germany.
As irrelevant as it would be to cite a piece of evidence from World War II or from 1776 to define America's relations with, for example,
If you think that World War II and the collective guilt of the Holocaust is not a massive factor for people's unconditional support of Israel, you are fucking delusional. It is absolutely a huge factor.
Britain or Germany today. That does not mean that the attack wasn't horrible for the Americans involved, that it wasn't bloody and terrible. The Israeli government paid reparations to the people who were killed. If you look at the actual military record of what happened on the USS Liberty, it was clearly a mistaken and tragic attack. The people who frequently cite
Didn't Ben Shapiro didn't he criticize even Germany's reparations for the Holocaust because it said that, oh, well, if this happened, it could allow them to buy their way out of the guilt? I remember reading something or seeing something about, stop cutting him off. Yeah. Okay. I apologize. Let me let it play out. The
USS Liberty, however, are not talking about the specifics of the USS Liberty. I suspect that the vast majority of people who bring this up are doing so in order to suggest that Israel deliberately attacked an American ship because Israel deliberately wants to harm America. It is connected generally with a larger point. I wonder if that's your point.
I don't think that Israel wants to harm America. I think that Israel wants America to act in its best interest. Israel is not malicious. They're just simply opportunistic.
If truth matters, then the Israeli government must
You're going to get some pauses, just not as many.
That attack.
Just
the
not
American
as many.
flag was flying on that ship. You do not mistake an American ship for a foreign one when our flag is flying.
So,
that's a big
we can
one.
spend the rest of the time talking about the specifics of the U.S. Liberty attack, or you can actually go look at the naval investigations that were done, multiple naval investigations that were done. The reality is that people were flying Mirage planes for the Israeli military at the time. The USS Liberty was sailing in an area where it had essentially gone off-grid. The Israeli military mistook it for an Egyptian ship. They thought it was shelling Al Arish, which happened not to be true. In the initial attack, the American flag was knocked down, and then the attack went on for about 90 minutes. And then, as soon, you can hear this, by the way, on the tapes of the Israeli pilots talking to each other, as soon as they realize that it's an American ship, they call off the attack, they speed a ship to try and help the USS Liberty. There have been multiple unfortunate friendly fire incidents between Allied forces, including, for example, in the Gulf War, where U.S. forces were responsible for killing about 9 British troops during the Gulf War. It's an unfortunate reality of war. But you're not answering my question, which is, what is your broader agenda in asking the question? Because I suspect that your question is not limited to your specific ire over an incident that happened in 1967.
Ben is right that he's not asking the question because of the USS Liberty. He's using that as a signal point to show that Israel does not have America's best interests in mind. It's clear what he's doing. It's obvious.
I think we should question any foreign country's relationship with our government.
That's totally fine, but I'm just wondering why you
serve American interests.
Again, I'm perfectly fine with questioning any country's relationship with the United States. But again,
well,
And I'm wondering what your motivation is in bringing up a 6-decade-old attack as though it is the #1 issue in assessing the relationship between Israel and the United States today.
Well, many problems persist to this day, but it's interesting that you say 6-decade-old incident when there are many people in this audience who were alive for that attack, as if this is something that's irrelevant.
Well,
that doesn't
no, it's just not particularly relevant to assess
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, 60 years ago isn't really that long.
the relationship between the United States and Israel today in the same way that in 1967, there are a wide variety of countries with which the United States had different relations. Okay, it's clear.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Why would any other country have U.S. interests, best interests in mind? They shouldn't, which is why we shouldn't view them as we should view them as a foreign nation, the same as we view everything else as a foreign nation. That's the difference. And so I have no problem with that, but I think there's also like more to it than this. 6 decades old is irrelevant to the Holocaust, which is older than 6 decades is relevant. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here. Give me 1 second. I think there was a couple more of these here. Oh. Let me see what this is. It's a long one. I don't want to watch a long one. Let me go and see if I can find any more of these here. With Tucker Carlson. Oh, here we go.
Coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Oh boy, give me a minute. I gotta use the bathroom. This is gonna be good. And again, there's definitely an implied consent, isn't there? Okay. Candace Owens.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer and, yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French.
The best thing, what I find to be so funny about this is that I actually do think in some of these points, Ben does have the clear and very defined moral upper hand. He does. And Ben is right. But I think that the Israel issue is so overpowered. It's so strong that literally nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. And it's also about the way he talks. No, he doesn't. I think it's very problematic what Candace has been doing. I do. I think it's very problematic. But like, I mean, again, it's her right to do it. Can you turn up the video quality? No.
Intelligence to Mossad, to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder, or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Oh, nope.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
Well, what about, I mean, like, I'm gonna be real, like, I said this earlier, but bro, the 5 stages of grief was meant to be a metaphor. She's going out there and doing all these performances and everything, doing this, like, oh my God. Really? Really? I mean, you gotta at least know that it's a bad idea, right? Like, I mean, even if you think it's the same as like Trump, right? Whenever Trump said that shit about that Hollywood guy that got killed, it's like you gotta have some awareness that whenever some guy gets killed and you're like, yeah, but he didn't like me, so he was crazy, and yeah, it is what it is. That's too bad. That's what happens when you don't like me. Like, you've got to have some level of self-awareness that you're just kicking yourself in the dick. Nobody's going to agree. There are a lot of opinions. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of opinions I have that I don't share because I know everybody's going to think I'm nuts. So you should just stop doing it. Stop saying it. I don't know what this is.
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice.
Oh.
Yes, cowardice. The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
Ben Shapiro is arguing for censorship, not argument. That's the reason why I think that his perspective on these things isn't going very well, is because he's not arguing that, you know, she's wrong necessarily. He's arguing that people shouldn't talk to her, and this is the same with Nick. That's the main thing that's happening. He was bullied in high school? I don't know. I have no idea. Cowards didn't admit the USS Liberty was a mistake. I mean, I don't know whether... I mean, I think that it's very clear that the person asking that is... you know, let me see if there's any more about the stuff from Tucker Carlson or anything else. This is what moral clarity looks like. And so a lot of people are very positive about it. But, you know, at least from his own people. Oh, here we go.
Thank you very much. Oh,
Man.
yeah. Thank you.
That's a lot of people there. Holy shit. I didn't know this was so big.
Thank you. Walking out is always such a trip at these things. I just got here, and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what?
Yep.
This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events I play, like, the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo!
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, you know, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, you know, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, you know, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my...
I like this, yes. The entire concept of platforming this is ridiculous. I think that the only things that you shouldn't be platforming are threats and doxing. Other than that, go ahead.
Announce, deplatform, and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole, like, Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left, that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life.
Yeah.
And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point. I would assume good
people. I mean, nobody, I'm not going to say the country of the people that they're from, or, you know, it's just people. I'm sure some of them are good people. They apparently give money to the organization. I mean, you know, there were just certain people. I'm not going to say the race of the doctor.
people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly.
And if you're lying, you better be able to explain that too. Because there's plenty of lying retards out there. You got to deal with them.
And in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist.
Exactly. He's right. That shit does not work anymore. It is over. It's done. It's finished. Here we go. See, we had the, like you guys saw how I structured this, right? We had the moderate disagreeers, and then we had Ben Shapiro, and then we had Tucker Carlson, who was a little bit less moderate. And now we're going to have Candace Owens, and guess who we're going to finish with? I planned this whole thing out.
When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Damn.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked
You're
with
retarded.
You, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising.
I've got to say, W to Ben Shapiro, bringing it back. We're going to bring them all back. They're all coming back. Retarded is the beginning, but it's not the end.
To inflate your numbers,
Thank
so people
God.
think that you're popular. So
wait, what?
No. I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular.
So, did the check not clear or something? Huh.
So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying what's happening, why is he on this stage, standing against everything that Charlie believed in. So that's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in.
I think it's okay to have Ben Shapiro up on the stage. I think you should have everybody up on the stage, even if you think they're nuts. If they've got a voice and there's a lot of people that are listening to them, then they deserve a spot on the stage.
Friend.
That's what I
think. He
think.
didn't like you for that very reason.
He didn't like you.
Look at you, and I just think you are such a little worm. He didn't like you for that very reason.
Oh my God.
Look at you, and I just think you are such a little worm.
She's taking him right back to high school, right back to middle school.
I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her?
Yeah.
We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Did she just say that she's off the plantation and then say that he rode in on a midget horse?
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Oh my God.
And I say that on behalf of the world.
Whoa!
You're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you.
Wow.
You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy.
Is it?
That he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben.
Goodbye, Ben. Wow.
Bye. Question is, how much more
me Schindler's List. I'm done watching Schindler's List. I know, I get it. Goodbye, Jews. Goodbye, Jews. Goodbye, Jews. I get it. I get it. I get it. Stop me.
There it is. Wow.
Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. Question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature.
Yeah.
He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on.
A belly creature? Like a snake.
The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Wow. Damn. Damn. Oh my God. Fuck you and the midget horse you ran in on. Such a little horse.
Fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. And truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world.
Oh my God. Well, there we go, guys. And let's see, is this...
With it. This one is so fully...
is this...
Before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. One of these belly creatures.
It's his nature. Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, he got pretty mad that he called her retarded. Yeah, I guess she did. And so now we have the last It's actually crazy how much the sentiment around Ben Shapiro has changed in like 1 year.
The Levins, the Wexlers, we're just laughing in your face. We're not listening. You're Jewish, you're pro-Israel. The Levins, the Wexlers, we're just laughing in your face. We're not listening. You're Jewish, you're pro-Israel, you're fucking cringe. Suffice to say, we're not listening anymore.
Damn.
You had your chance. You had goodwill. You even had censorship and all sorts of other built-in advantages in the media market, and you blew it.
Man.
With your disingenuousness, with your omissions and your lies, your hypocrisy, your cancel culture, you blew it. Think about the advantage that they had. A guy like Ben Shapiro, he had no rivals. And Tucker pointed this out. Shapiro has a deal with Facebook. I imagine he has a deal with YouTube. So,
I don't know if that's about, like, I know other people have deals, like, just because, you know, I do streaming. Like, that might not be as much of a condemnation as you might imagine.
Everybody was being censored by Facebook and YouTube. Shapiro was being promoted.
Well,
do you know what a good deal that is? That would be like if you went into business selling hamburgers, and the government said, we're going to subsidize.
I think that that's true, that Ben Shapiro was, during like the woke era, the safe conservative voice that a lot of people would go with. It was kind of like he was like Creed in like the year 2002.
Burger King and McDonald's is not allowed to obtain a business
safe
license.
choice.
That's the deal that Daily Wire had going. They were like the number 2 advertiser on Facebook for a decade.
Wow.
Or something like that. The number 2 most prolific ad buyer on the platform. Meanwhile, and that's the biggest platform. Everybody else was banned.
Wow.
And for 10 years, they were the beneficiary of cancel culture and all those other structural benefits. And what they did with that is they just abused the good faith and the goodwill of the people. They showed their hand, which is they don't care about Americans. They only care about Israel. They were hypocrites. They lied. They were disingenuous. If anybody was critical of their position, they were dismissive or they tried to destroy that person, like myself.
That did happen.
And I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I said, Ben Shapiro's finished. You're done, little man.
I think it might just be over. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think it might be just over. Oh my God. Done? Yes. Jesus, man.
Person like myself. And I said on Twitter earlier tonight, I said, Ben Shapiro's finished. You're done, little man. America has had enough of Ben Shapiro. We see you for what you are, and now we're done with you. Americans are not listening to you. We don't care what you have to say because we know that you don't care about us. So you have contempt for us, and honestly, at this point, the feeling is mutual.
I think that's a pretty fair sentiment that a lot of people have, especially to the extent that Ben Shapiro has represented Israel's interests a lot.
So I saw today he had another great clip defending H-1B visas. Nice. So the message from the Shapiro and Levin crowd is 50-year mortgages. If you can't afford to buy a home in the city you grew up in, then you should leave. H-1B visas, which is a scam for cheap foreign labor, are actually necessary. Oh, and if anybody...
What's crazy is that H-1B take that he has used to be the Democrat take. That's what's nuts.
Criticizes Israel, they're a Nazi, and they need to shut up, and we're going to war with Iran. That's a really winning message. Unfortunately for them, now we have free speech on the internet, so there's other people around that can challenge that.
I think he's right. I think he's right. The only reason why that viewpoint and that value system existed is because nobody was allowed to challenge it. And now that there are no gatekeepers and there's nobody else that's able to... shit, anybody can post whatever they want, right? And so there you go. Average Elon W. I think it's a big reason. Don't have free speech on the internet, not at least everywhere. I know that, but we have it somewhere. And having it somewhere is enough. That's enough.